Okay, we're live. It's all yours.
Lit. Hello, everybody sitting here in Zoom and sitting at home. Welcome to the Berkeley Poetry Slam Quarantine Edition. I am your host, Reggie, and I will be your conductor on this magical train ride of poetic excellence and artistic beauty. But before we begin, got a couple ground rules to lay down first for the poets. No props, no costumes, no musical accompaniment, no nudity. Please don't test me. Not trying to get this stream taken down tonight. But most importantly is your time limit. Poets have a time limit of 3 minutes with a grace period of 10 seconds. After 3 minutes and 10 seconds, you will be deducted points by our scorekeeper, Hobby. After 4 minutes, normally we would cut you off with a DJ. That is low-key impossible over Zoom, so it gets a little bit more awkward than live music playing in the middle of your poem. It just gets muted, and then I have to bounce back and act like we didn't mute a poet, and it's not gonna make me feel good. It's not gonna make you feel good. Nobody at home is gonna feel good. So please, no 4 minute poems. Next for the judges, y'all have the hardest job tonight. You have to judge the poetry openly. You will be giving poems scores from a 0.0 to 10.0 scale, 0.0 being the worst piece of shit you have ever heard in your life. It's like coronavirus, but like no quarantine. And we're just all like out here breathing like virus air and getting each other sick because like our country doesn't know how to control itself. Wait, that's like what's going on. so a 10 is the best thing you've ever heard in your life. It's like a baby laughing to the tune of your favorite 80s pop song. It is magical. It is beautiful. It saved your life. And not in the way that we say poetry saved your life, like it actually like you're about to get hit by a car and this poem like pushed you out the way and sacrificed itself so you could continue going. Point being, there's not a lot of zeros and there's not a lot of tens. Score accordingly. There's this thing called score creep where as the night goes on and we get a little bit more turnt, the poetry sounds a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, and the scores get a little bit higher and a little bit higher and a little bit higher. Don't do that shit. It's not fair for the first person that comes up. So to help you, we'll have a sacrificial poet, someone who's not competing, but you're gonna score them like they are. Anyone who you like more, score them higher. Anybody that you don't like as much, score them lower. I saw a question in the chat, which is a really good question. We have a 2 round slam tonight. First round is all poets. The second round is the top 5 scoring poets. Um, make it into the money round. Lit. And next for the audience, yes, that means you have rules even though you're in your own home. First, like, share, subscribe to our Instagram and Twitter at Berkeley Slam and Facebook at the Berkeley Poetry Slam. Um, Also, comment on the feed. Let these folks know how you feel about their poem. Give them love, give them support, quote their power lines. I know that I don't know about the other poets, but I do go back and look at the live streams and look at what people are saying about like what happened at what point. And it's beautiful, it's magical. It's a way for us to engage with you. So we do want to hear your voice. Let us know how you feel. If you post anything on social media, remember to hashtag Berkeley Slam. And then finally, just remember that this is a freedom of speech space. Poets are going to be coming up here and talking about really anything that they want. In any way that they want. So be mindful. That being said, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from the consequences of what the fuck you just said. We encourage people to have those difficult conversations with others about how we can better hold space for each other. But we encourage you to have that conversation after the show, so we're not interrupting the next poet that is coming up on the mic. Nice. I think that's it for the rules. We got rules for the poets, we got our judges, our audience. Yes, the poets shall be reading in this order. We have Cam, then Emrys, then Chardonnay, then Tyrone Thompson, then Alex the Great, then Tiana, then Scriptures Raw, and then Brianna Grace. Yes, give maximum love, send good energy to all of the poets. I think we are ready to start the show. Oh no, we have our sacrificial poet, someone to get these judges ready. Everybody like type in the comment section, spill the blood, and give maximum love and positive energy to your sacrificial poet, Javi.
Javi, you have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I couldn't stop myself just means you could, but you decided not to. If I recounted all the times someone couldn't stop themselves, I'd have a list of boys' names written with my spit. I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in leaving behind. The empty space of longing and revenge both feel like a cold spot. There's parts of us that sour with touch, and it always means fermentation, the science of unraveling, to break and coil and curdle into some metallic aftertaste. Don't get me wrong. I think memories can be sweet things, the gentle cusp of an underbelly or the sweat trickle that barely teeters into steam. But take the same memory and press it of its juice, stomp its seeds between your toes and good oak and bottle it. I forget. Do we turn what we choose not to remember into wine, or does it not rot as gracefully? What are we if not always trying to hold on to something? I used to believe that if I wasn't thinking of my grandmother all the time, then she would stop existing. Some void behind me always following the movement, the moment my eyes pulled other focus. At night, I would pray for everyone I ever knew, even the ones I did not love, in case they stopped being there in the morning. But I learned some people stop being there in the morning anyway. If I could change one thing about me, I think it'd be my ability to remember pain in increasing amounts. The first time I lost a tooth, I swallowed it. The second time we tied floss and closed the bathroom door, and fuck, it was the wrong tooth, but that one went out anyways. Now every tooth after hurt the same, like something you ripped out a little too soon. I've been pulling teeth since, and my gums won't stop bleeding. I'm in a gay club for the cheap drinks and the cardio. I sweat and rehydrate until the sweat is 90 proof. I have the uncanny ability to vomit whenever I need to. Even when the walls are slow moving horses in a carousel, I plug my nose and heave the way a life raft batters the waves. Some nights I flush nothing down but teeth. I am 12 and carry weight like an inner tube on my waistline. My grandmother tells me if I keep eating bacon at this rate, I might wake up one of the pigs. I must have stopped praying right then. I don't think I ever learned to hate myself, just learned to expect more of myself than I could give. So I grew smaller. I was always dizzy and always growling. My teeth were yellow backed, but I could fill myself with what I wanted and summon it back up again. I knew magic, I did. I could disappearing act a childhood and make it look good in jeans. Do you know how dangerous desire can be? I wanted and could be wanted, and all the steps in between I couldn't keep down long enough.
All right, that was Javi. Give maximum love to our sacrificial poet. Judges, put up your scores. I have one score. This is the longest I'm gonna give you, but like the middle of the poem, you know, if it's like a 2-point yes or like a 8-point we got 1, 2, and please keep them up until I read them out, because I'm not gonna remember them. I dropped out of an English major, so don't ask me to look at numbers. Let's see. Let them know how we feel. We got a low of an 8.1. Aphrodisiac, can you, there we go. It goes up to a 9.2, a 9.5, and 9.75, which we round down to 9.7. I know for a fact that that doesn't sound like good math, but that's how we do things, you know, we round down. Lit. Okay, that was our sacrificial poet. Judges, you are now experts. I trust you. I love you. In the way like we can love each other through a screen and not knowing each other. We have 5 judges. One of them is sending their scores straight to the scorekeeper because they don't have a good camera. So keep that in mind. I will always make sure to announce the previous poet's score after the next poet. So you will always get your correct score. Yes. Nice. Okay. Lit. So yeah, judges, you are experts. You know exactly what you are doing. I trust you. I love you. I hope you love me too. Audience, like what the fuck? Like that's our first poet. We have no tens. We didn't even break the 9 barrier. Like I know we're all disillusioned with like voting or whatever, but like you know the only way to get things done is to be loud. So let everyone know how you feel about the scores. If you're sitting at home, type something in the comment section how you feel about the scores. Let folks know how you feel about the scores in the chat. You know, be respectful, but you know, be honest. Judges, don't be swayed by the audience. Like most of them aren't even here, so like, how are they even going to like sway you? Audience, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I trust you. I know there are some magical spiritual people. Work your mojo, get what you want. Manifest. Nice. So on deck, we have Emrys, but give maximum love to our first poet of the slam. Give it up for Cam.
You have the floor.
The Black Plague. What did they do during the Black Plague? I ask. My friend, whose skin is the color of tree bark in moonlight, takes a drag from his cigarette in defiance of both God and cancer, then answers. Drink, pray, die. 1. I am 24 years old and already so acquainted with death. When my brother turned 22, we went roller skating. He glided around the rink, Black Boy Joy personified, when I asked if he wanted to go dancing or do karaoke, mark his milestone in any of the usual ways. He took a swig from a 5th of whiskey and said, if I make it to 25, we'll turn up then. That if burrowed itself in my chest, and I have been carrying it with me ever since. 2. When my grandmother tells me she is tired, what I hear is I am ready. I do not blame her. Existence is exhausting, especially in this skin, and the world is cruel. When I tell my mother about anger, about the hopelessness that threatens to swallow me whole, she pats my hand, tells me she remembers that fire, but that things do not improve, then offers me a platitude about God's grace and the evil of men. 3. I am so tired of seeing my people buried before we are even allowed to live. Replaceable and then essential, immune and then most vulnerable. And didn't we know this all along? Don't we laugh because we feel the reaper's noose at our necks even now? Don't we know that our laughter is proportional to the strength in our limbs and the breath in our lungs? Don't niggers laugh loud and run fast? Don't they always catch us anyway?
Okay, send that good energy to Cam. Javi, can you send me the score for the sacrificial poet? Lit. Okay, while we're waiting for that score, let me tell you about a few things. First, the Berkeley Slam has been around since 1998. That is only possible because of our venue, the Starry Plow. As you may have guessed, the Starry Plow is closed right now due to COVID-19 shelter in place restrictions. That does not mean that you cannot support them and make sure that they have a place in a community to come back to when this is all over. You can always donate. They have a GoFundMe page up. They You can always go to the Starry Plows Facebook page in order to learn more information about how you can donate. You can also buy e-gift cards, so ways where you can support now and use later. Definitely make sure you support the Starry Plow. We wouldn't be able to do any of this work in the community, providing anybody with platforms if it wasn't for the amazing people that own, operate, run the plow. So if not for Berkeley Slam, do it so people have jobs to come back to afterwards, because they're all amazing people. Lit. And the score for the SAC was a 28.1. All right. So on deck.
You got to read the scores out.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Wrong scores I was concerned with. Judges, I have 1, 2, 3. Aphrodisiac. Did we lose a judge? Yeah, I think we lost a judge. But I will read out the scores that I have right now. We have a low of an 8.1. It goes up to a 9.3 and a 9.3. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened to our other judge.
Was the judge, Reggie?
Aphrodisiac. Or that was their name on the Zoom.
Yeah, I don't see anyone trying to rejoin, so they might have disconnected.
Okay. That is great. Everybody at home, say fuck technology.
There is someone on Twitter giving a score. If you want to know, it's a 10.
What do we do? I don't even know how to deal with losing a. If we were at a in person, I could find another judge like that.
So usually the protocol for a situation like this would be, I think, to just drop either the low or the high score. It doesn't really matter, but just drop that for everyone.
Drop the lower
The
the
low
high.
score. The low score. So just drop the lowest score of the 4.
Okay. So we're going to drop the lowest score of the 4 for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So that goes for everyone. We're going to drop the lowest score for everyone to even and level out the playing field. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Does anybody have any objections to that? Okay, nice. So moving on deck, we have Chardonnay, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up to the slam. Give it up for Imris.
You have the floor, Emrys.
I'm having a hard time naming myself today. This isn't unusual. Most days, my name hides behind a grave and is overlooked for the one on the stone, but today it has gone entirely. Swept away on a defeated tidal wave, a blank crossword and no clues, just a forest of empty space. And I understand. I worship at this altar of aloofness, quiet in myself. I call it tranquility, but it's just quiet. There can be no peace in all this silence. What separates a name from a word? What flesh coils behind the syllables? Is there a way to tell when the sound doesn't sit quite right on the bone? See, I'm not unlike that quiet that gets called tranquil, called man when I'm only a person, called a dead man's name when I'm alive and here and no man at all. I think a name is just an echo, a sound that follows a thing, and I am trailed by a borrowed cacophony. How minor a thing to be hounded to my own grave by someone else's funeral march, to keep marching for all the mourners. I'm having a hard time naming myself today. Sounds slide past and my words catch on clinking silverware, surrounded by all this bright clamor. But I think tomorrow I'll go looking.
All right, give that energy back to Emrys. Yes. Okay. Judges. Let them know how you feel. Got 1 score, 2 scores, 3 scores. All right. We have a low of, keep them up until I read them because like I have the attention span of like a goldfish. It's bad. We got a low of an 8.3, goes up to an 8.9 and a 9.1. And for reference, Cam got a 27.9. Nice. So on deck, let me just get my stuff together. Oh my God. On deck. On deck, we have Tyrone Thompson. But give maximum love to the next person coming up on stage. Give it up for Chardonnay.
Okay, you have the floor.
A contrapuntal on sexual assault. As a child, I swallowed a seed and planted it in my throat to choke on my words. Underwater rules, sea, yell, oh sky, no reach or control of my mouth and lungs. The truth, it's not the first plant I nurtured myself, groomed a garden. Does it matter that the seeds were forced into my mouth? I swallowed. A child, hiding whispers. My voice disappeared. Seeds filling emptiness, forcing deeper. And by the time I noticed the thorns, I was already swallowing. More seeds and phlegm and splitting vines spitting out a parasite, silencing my voice. I played in a secret garden. The sky turned my stomach in, out, watching me bare. This is part of the game. The flower exposed. Sun paints yellow sky. Teeth spreading a secret in front of me. Smiling, that was the joke. If I laugh too, I'm not alone. The seeds growing in me, more come. Follow when I leave the garden. Secrets. I think I know why I was embarrassed now. Spit it out, but full, unshakable seeds. Confessions of evil deeds are a fairy tale. It's just a game, too full to speak, swallowing my words to hide the blood, exposing myself, the first wound I remember. As a child, I played in a secret garden. I swallowed a seed and the sky turned my stomach, planted it in my throat, in, out, watching me bare. This is to choke on my words, part of the game. Underwater rules, see the flower exposed. Sun paints yellow sky, no reach or control of teeth spreading a secret. My mouth and lungs in front of me smiling. That was the truth. It's not the joke. If I laugh too, I'm not the first plant. I nurtured myself alone. The seeds growing in me groomed a garden. More come. Does it matter that the seeds were? Does it matter that the seeds follow when I leave the garden? Secrets were forced into my mouth. I think I know why I swallowed. A child hiding was embarrassed, now spit it out in whispers. My voice disappeared, but full, unshakable seeds, confessions of evil deeds are filling emptiness, forcing a fairy tale deeper. And by the time I notice it's just the thorns, I was already the game, too full to speak, swallowing my words to hide the blood, more seeds and phlegm, and exposing myself, splitting vines, spitting out the first wound, a parasite, silencing. I remember my voice. Thank you.
All right, give that good energy to Chardonnay. Nice. Judges, I need your scores. Let me know how you feel. And Javi, can you send me the last poet's score as well? Oh, just got it, lit. We got our fifth judge back, but I believe we're still going to be dropping the lowest score. All right, we got a low of an 8.0, a 9, a 9.5, and a 9.5. Give it up for the poet and not the point. And for reference, Emrys got a 27.1. All right. Let's see. Before we continue, I just have a little bit more information. I don't know if you noticed, but like that seems like somebody like wrote that poem. And if you too would like to write the poem, we write a poem. We have a workshop every Wednesday at 7 p.m. via Zoom. You can check us out on Facebook and Instagram, the Berkeley Slam on Facebook, Berkeley Poetry Slam on Facebook, and Berkeley Slam on Instagram for more information on how you can participate in our weekly workshops. It's a great way for you to have community and create with other people in a separated online virtual world. So on deck, moving on, we have Alex the Great, but give maximum love to the next person coming up in the slam. Give it up for Tyrone Thompson.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. This is ring like a cedar tree. My biggest fear was dying a mute until the matrilineal showed me the roots again. But this grieving was stagnant, like oil in reservoirs, diluting the source. And in recent years, people said they was disappointed in this political stance, with vehement reactions and seconds into life resentment. This web of the interconnection of our own internal conflicts of enrolled affiliation or indigenous kinship connection. Individuals say they're out to destroy patriarchal structured lineage or participate in institutions that are another loyalty, enrollment being the tool of oppressive humanity. Those minuscule seconds compared to the 164 years of being unheard, the confliction in what is compromised. It was 1910 when the survey began on the Columbia River, the plot to destroy indigenous humanity. Decades later, Slaughter Falls became buried history. 5 years before, Lady Justice was presented with the business using supreme law for tribal malice. And the main supplement became superior right for produce. The open wound of endless bleeding, ignoring how a colonial bound, the demise of spiritual ground, struggling to find sincere affection in the oppressive chaos. It constant battle of resolve and connection, where vanity often usurps any communication, Blood quantum continues, diluting nearly everyone's lineage. Let the matrilineal persevere, add rings like a cedar tree, and heal grieving. My indigenous name is known and no longer fear dying. Thank you for your time.
Yes, give that good energy to Tyrone Thompson. Judges, I need your scores. Okay, we got a low of a. Waiting for that fifth score. We got a low of, oh God. Move it a little bit to the other way. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay, we got a low of an 8.5. It goes up to an 8.9, a 9.05, which we round down to a 9, and a 9.1. Give it up for the poet and not the point. All about the poetry. Nice. So on deck, we have Tiana, but give maximum love to the next person coming up to the slam. Give it up for Alex the Great.
You have the floor.
My feminism will whoop your misogyny's ass any day of the week. Cause my feminism ain't no punk. My feminism knows that you fight like a girl is not an insult, won't settle for the stereotypes because girls are not fragile. We are strong-minded, built to last. My feminism is a lit match, a broken fuse, a furious flame, burning bras, panties, and all ties to bad relationships. Why does it have to cost so much for good support? For $45, I would much rather keep my money and hold myself up. My feminism says equal work deserves equal pay. Duh, your dick doesn't make you any more or less equipped than me. See, I like to think I come from a dying breed, one who won't just lay down and take it. I'm like that old adage, I'm good for more than just laying on my back. Sometimes I like being on top. My feminism will twerk, shake, and drop everything she got to the floor with no hands. Say sometimes when I move, my ass moves the opposite direction, but we are not asking for attention. Do not need any of your permission. My feminism is not for your slut shaming and your name calling, your body politics. This vagina has a mouth, and she will speak for herself. My feminism does not like boxes or closets or hiding spaces. It's not about exclusionary tactics, not afraid to be bold, to stand out, to live proud. My feminism talks like this because I can back it up. See, I don't speak on facts of what a woman should do because I respect a woman's right to choose. I don't like carrying laser armpits, but I won't knock you if you do. And I would never kill a gestating child of mine, but I respect your right to choose. My feminism does not promote violence unless I'm being provoked. I don't incite a riot unless I see a threat of smoke, and I don't take too kindly to idle threats. I speak even when I'm not spoken to. I move, and I don't wait for your instructions. My feminism says fuck all your rules, but my feminism knows how dangerous it is to be female, to be born woman, to know the heaven and the hell I hold in this body, this temple, yet I keep praying for the day that I won't be forced to divorce myself from this skin, to undo this back-breaking labor called life, pick a lesser of two evils, a more subtle form of oppression. My feminism knows I don't just live in theory, in debate, in dissertation, in your textbook. I am a daily contradiction, a walking counter-argument, and my feminism teaches me to never, ever be silent.
All right, all right. Give that maximum energy to Alex the Great. Before we continue, I did fuck up. I was supposed to announce Chardonnay's scores. I did not. Let me look back at it. And Chardonnay got a 28.0. So lit. And Tyrone got a set 27.0. Let me announce that before I forget to. All right, we got one score, we got two scores, we got three scores. Let me get that fifth score. I can't see your score, Trey.
It is, where the fuck it go? Oh, it's right there.
Okay, lit. So we got a low of an 8.4. It goes up to a 9.7, a 10, and a 10. Give it up for the poet and not the points. All right, all right. Before we continue, yes, I have another announcement to make. We're not just like out here just doing stuff like and not asking for nothing. We have a Patreon. You can support us on patreon.com/Berkeley Slam. Patreon is becoming a patron is a great way to support us. It's a monthly donation that allows us to plan, budget, and grow and continue providing these necessary spaces and necessary platforms for artists within the Bay Area and now in a virtual world out all over the world. So if you want to continue seeing this work being done in the poetry community, go to patreon.com/Berkeley Slam and donate. Lit. So on deck, we got Scriptures Raw, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up to the stage. Give it up for Tiana.
You have the floor.
What does strong in the real way mean? Who am I to discuss this? Champagne makes me cry. The way it scorches my throat, asking if I accomplished my dreams in the previous 365 days. And it already knows the answer. And it likes to sit condescendingly in weird, fancy glasses I have never really needed to own. Sun-scorched dreams get burnt when staring into reality. I try to look sexy on New Year's Eve when looking like a stunned raccoon posing on the couch. Not roadkill, but not swishing through the grass right now either, but that's all right. That's okay. My friend is strong in the real way when she's holding her friend's hair back at the toilet. I might be strong in the real way when I still stare into the cup and its dazzling bubbles pop at my sound of my saying, fine, bring it. I'll attempt the dream thing again this year. I get up every morning and look in the mirror even after a forever hangover. And what is being strong in the real way? I'm a bit tired of saying what is real as defined by dead men. We live too, because shouting through war might be strong, but so is finally asking the boy to dance with you when you were in middle school and Shakira was playing in the background. A 14-year-old saying, would you like to dance with me, feel with me, make a fool out of me, even when risking Snickers when not many had heard words like that out loud yet. What could be strong in a real way is letting the abusive sit in the fridge, spoil, and still being okay with being called unimaginable because you wouldn't let him make you sit and rot with him like last year's milk, spilling on the floor like a movie. Some are in the business of saving, but the last customer didn't work out for me. And so I'm asking some other people how to keep going when it doesn't feel like there's any more product to give. Strong in the real way is knowing where to find some assistance. Strong means people who will help my grandma get some groceries, especially now. Strong is looking out the window and knowing that we can all collectively paint hope together through screens and daydreams. Strong means fuck it, I'll do it. Strong in the real way means to keep walking with what feels like blood pouring from you, trailing behind you like a satin cape, because you're a queen. I hope that when I say this, it lights a fire in you. Fuck the dictionary. Being strong in the real way means being us.
Right. Give that maximum love to the poet Tiana. Judges, I need your skizzors. I got 1 judge, 2 judge, 3 judge, 4. Okay, we have a low, let them know how you feel, of a 7.5. It goes up to a 9, a 9.1 and a 9.4. Yes, give it up for the poet and not the points. All right. On deck, we have Brianna. And the scores for the last poet, we had a 29.7 for Alex the Great. On deck, we have Brianna Grace, but give maximum love to the next person coming up in the slam. Give it up for Scriptures Raw.
You have the floor.
There's something in a rapping. What is it? With notions preconformed, we label it by its adornment. But I was not adorned, so of course I'm cast out like a thorn. Even when a thorn is the beauty of the rose. Remember the poem, The Rose That Grew from Concrete? Some are blind to who we are. Others attempt to hide it for their cause, and even more, they hide it in their cause, and you would never know the rappings once before. Cast to the side and on the floor, alive, trying to reach up to the stars, hoping and praying God's hand grabs a hold. Then for some, it's realized that God's hand always was, just not from above like the spooks think. For it is within that God made us new men, with the roof surrounded the main artery of us all, elevating and levitating over large planes to centralize the identity of us all. As above, so below. Look deep within. See the sun, moon, and stars. You see Joseph's dream. You see the story of me, meaning we, the rise and the fall. Every level, literally saw it all. This time I should not repeat. Movement goes on. As above, so below. The creation of us all. Because the stopping of movement means we are no more. And it only needs to be informed because the spirit lives on. So let the spirit live on. Let the Nipseys, let the Parks, let the downtrodden they call scum. Well, we know who we are. Let the Malcolms, let the Garveys, let the prophets and their armies be remembered because the reality of it all is God gave it to them all. And if you don't heed it, you will conform. Like the form of who you are will die at a pause. Even these words I recorded was God that gave them form. Scriptures and what it's called in pieces and in us all in unity. When we are in orbit, see the intelligence, the divine schematics within us all and beyond. Study the Quran, it's my walk, overstood in a different thought. But the beauty in it all gets lost. Seek God. Embody the teachings, the ancestral beings whose spirits are within each. 154. Do not call on those who are killed in the cause of God's plan no more. They are alive. Little do you know the definition of an immortal soul. Remember Adam and his fall. Still, God gave him cloth that blackness so adorned, but hated all at once, but protected from the harm to be inflicted by the one who seeks to see us fall as they try to steal our form. Don't discard my rappings and take credit. It ain't yours. That's that piece.
Give that maximum love up to Scriptures Raw. All right, judges, you know what I need you for. We've been through this. You know why I'm here. All right, we got 1 score, 2 scores, 3 scores, 4. We got a low of a 7.4, goes up to an 8.9, a 9.1, and a 10. Fuck the scores, give it up for the poet. All right. And let's see. We have a 27.1 for Tiana. All right. On deck, we have our amazing feature. If you do know who our feature is, congratulations. If you don't know, you are going to learn today. But more about that later, because coming up to the stage right now, give maximum energy for the last poet of the first round. Give it up for Brianna Grace.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
I didn't want to share a name with any woman in the Bible, and yet here I am, sharing a story with one of its nameless. We only knew her as his, a mother, a wife, a compound. A mineral is not allowed an identity. A woman is not allowed a name. Then came the prestige. A miracle is a curse, depending on who you ask. I turned back, saw you kissing him, and transitioned into a pillar of salt. The thing I tried my hardest not to become a curse. Now, unable to open my mouth, a blessing. Everything about me is crystalline. Sharp edges, no water left in me anymore. After all, there is no known variation of salt which knows how to wail or keen, even if it is found in tears. Christ transmuted his body and blood into wine and bread. We call this a holy act. Mine transfigured into sodium and chlorine, and it too is a holy act, regardless of how you define miracle. You once said I was a blessing, and I believed you. Now I want to be a curse. Spill my body and throw me over your left shoulder. Ask for forgiveness as if it is something I can even give you. I will always be right behind you anyways, haunting your kitchen and dining room tables, watching over you, the chef that does not know how to infuse love into anything they bake anymore. The last words Lot's wife never got to say were these: may every meal taste like regret. Thank you.
Okay. Give that maximum energy to Brianna Grace. Judges, you know what I need. I need your scores. I got 1 score. I got 2 scores. Let me get 3 scores. Ooh, can I get that 4th score? Or I'm missing 1 score. Maxine. Okay. We have a low, let them know how you feel, of an 8.5. It goes up to an 8.7, a 9.2, and a 9.8. Again, fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet. Okay. And for a reference, Scriptures Raw had a 27.2. Nice. We have reached the star of our night, if you will, our feature. Our feature tonight is Rayan Choeb. Please correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Choeb, but it's totally fine. Like immigration
Choeb.
up anyways, so it's all good.
Perfect. Thank you for correcting me. Lit. So we have Rayan Choeb. And I'm just gonna read this bio because like it's just hella impressive. So Rayan is a poet out of Riverbank, California, and a college sophomore planning to study biology. His writing focuses on reconciling his traditional Syrian upbringing with his identity as first-generation American, with an emphasis on trying to better understand the communities and spaces with which he interacts. Above all, Rayan aims to canvas his internal dialogue, bridging topics such as mental health stigma, growing up low income, and humanitarian rights. He is currently working on his first chapbook, Boy for When He Isn't, lending his take on his current position in the universe as shaped by his experiences and his environment. In his spare time, Rayan can be found learning how to correctly, I can't pronounce.
Debke. It's like an Arabic 2-step.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Learning how to correctly debke, curating and creating music, or falling into a YouTube spiral of Obama speeches and Johnny Carson interviews. I need everyone to give maximum 1000% love to your feature for the night, Rayan Choeb.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Really, really appreciate the opportunity, and much love to everybody at Berkeley Slam. My name is Rayan, and I guess to start off, this is an excerpt from a poem I wrote called Boy. And yeah, here it goes. Things I'd like you to know for now. 1, I smile like cracked asphalt. Inconvenient until you need it just so. 2, I think pineapple on pizza tastes like the national debt. 3, it's been almost a year since I tried to fly. I promised a man with a beard I'd keep my wings tucked under my shirt from now on. 4, when they burned my uncle's shop down and bombed their hospitals, I stopped speaking to the leaks in my roof. These days, I just listen to Lauren. 5, sometimes I let my thoughts get the best of me. 5, I like coming up with new words for old acronyms. My favorite so far is, of course, dude. 5, I am learning to love like cracked mirror. I would never want you to change a thing either. Thank you. So that's things I'd like you to know for now. Moving swiftly on. I imagine if the world were to stop tilting on its axis, it would feel like this. These last several weeks, I've been trying to heal, fingertips stroking an urn. My keyboard collects dust. How much human do I have to be before I can try and fit into a supply chain again? I distract myself often. I'm avoiding carpal tunnel. That said, I'm better with my right hand. I wish ambidexterity was a pronoun. Wish grit was leftmost on my birth certificate. I'm tired of explaining what my real name should mean. I want to give in all the ways good people do. I'm afraid I'm still trying to cuddle with constellations. This week, I requested my patient health information from my therapist. I was meant to be kinetic. I'm afraid that's why this was so hard. To stop and let streetlights dance across my corneas while I inhale negative space. Breathing has always been an oxymoron. How long until we realize we have always been background? I meet with my school therapist for the first time. She has a brace on her right leg. I tell her about mine. My right leg, that is. We smile. I guess my gestation lasted 2 decades. It's time to learn how to breathe again. I opened my eyes last week. My parents aren't here to record my first steps. They wouldn't be able to tell the difference anyways. My therapist says I'm learning homeostasis. Thank you. Moving on. This poem is titled A Saturday Night I'd Like to Be. For as long as I can remember, I've loved streetlights. On days where the random probability of stumbling outside my room is higher than normal, I might open the garage door, replace my hair with steering wheel, and make this body a time lapse of the city. Can you see the streetlights? How often I have made the mistake of lowering the window in the hopes that one might pierce me in the mouth or the chest, and I die of bioluminescing a parking lot. There's something about train tracks and the old factory lights on Santa Fe and a city hall for a ghost town and the people of the graveyard shift that make me feel like a candle bearer. Like I would want no more than to light somebody else's way if it meant I could color the night. Make it warm like 11 a.m. mass. I've never been to an 11 a.m. mass, but I can imagine what an intersection for sunbeams might look like. Call it a cross. Or a vending machine when we allow ourselves the calories. And I am so sick of pouting behind glass. So yeah, this is a Saturday night I'd like to be. One you can't capture in a still. To measure a pulse with a JPEG is asking for a flat line. So how about a motor to rev like an EKG, or a bike to synchronize the rotation of the planet, or a star to pray on for another sunset? Thank you. Awesome. This poem is titled Half an Origin Story. My sister is the designated hoarder of family photos. These days, I find myself confusing her doorway for general admission. Her wall, an olive tree rooted in soil the color of Zadr. There is a photo of us organized on the steps of our ancestral home. I was 10 at the time of the picture. All curls and no forehead. Ibn Wa'il was my maiden name. Still is. If you take the one way to the city that was once empire turned moon crater. My grandparents, all chisel and charm, hovered near the top of the staircase. I think when my grandparents passed, they left behind their gravity. My father's wrinkles, now heavy like water wells. My mother walks like she's submerged in the Mediterranean. All this pressure, and the doctor says my breath is escaping me, so maybe physics is congenital. To my people, I am son of the Jebel, caught between my teta's apricot tree and her son's American visa. I am grandson of the Busra. Roman Empire redux. My ancestors built columns for colonizers and learned love languages not their own. I am the whispers of echoes of a Syrian choir long departed from a theater once whole. Mama says she can still smell the rubble on me. I am old enough to know that's a blessing and a curse. Thank you. Cool. This is called Density, and just a trigger warning, there is mention of suicide, so if you need to, step away and take some space for yourself, please do. Okay. This week, I feel like I've lost at least 10 pounds. That reduces me to spandex mannequin wearing a hoodie that hangs from my shoulders like incorrectly autopsied lynchings. It's not that I'm taking up less space. There's just less of me to measure my weight in olive oil, which is to say, my fears of drowning have partially subsided, which kind of sucks. Jumping into a current is supposed to couple itself to adrenaline, but I won't be swept under anymore. Instead, always afloat, having to maneuver by the seat of my pants between jagged rocks and trees that garnish the bend of a riverbank, as if suicide resembles a body piercing. Still, there's something attractive about that, about hanging dry while Newton governs disorder below, feet still, not always fleeing, not having to fight to flee, not fleeing from yourself or from you fighting it. I imagine breakdowns are all crescendos. And if you're lucky, your life sounds a lot like Mozart. But if your life is a linear trajectory to the cosmos, I just hope you're dense enough to swim. Thank you. Moving on. This poem makes me like a little sentimental because this is kind of like representative of where I started out. So yeah, this is called Pulse. Baba is a man of little to no discretion. Baba, why was I born here? I asked as if a logical reason might grant me citizenship in a country I knew nothing about. See, I wanted his flag, wanted it to fit more like a sweater, less like a straitjacket. He responds almost immediately. This is the best country in the world. As if the answer was spelled out in the wrinkles on his forehead I did not notice. I was skeptical. 10 years old, and I questioned the legitimacy of a country I did not consider mine. See, I questioned our flag. The red and blue we used to color around white stars and stripes. No other flag had as many stars, but my head was so much clearer under Arabian Nights. These nights, I find myself tracing my roots to my parents' time because every leaf on my tree, deep green with red, white, and black veins that run prominent and strong throughout, tells the story of Syria. When Bashar al-Assad was just a boy. When boys didn't live in fear of chemical warfare and the drones of aircrafts above. Today, fear lives in our boys. Adult fear, toxic, not diluted, it's chemical. Fearing war on kids that no longer mimic the sound of planes, but rather the whistle of a bomb as it somersaults into a crowd of unaware gymnasts. See, the Syrian people are more flexible than ever before. But that doesn't mean they should be used to bending and breaking. I only know my parents' Syria. I'm not sure how the ruins will speak to me. There's nothing lively about the destruction of livelihood. But I will still press my ears against cement walls and abandoned liquor store windows, waiting to hear a pulse. Because that is all the proof I need to know that we are woven from the same cloth with hearts attuned to the sound of taxi cabs and Feiruz at sunrise. I, a foreigner, and they, natives, are no different than fruits that fall on different sides of the tree. And what do we do when the tree is hurting? We can pray for a better season or risk leaving a sour taste in the mouths of those who wish to cut us open and erase us from the inside. Thank you. Just checking the time. Okay. I got 2 more for y'all.
Hey, Ryan, before you go forward,
Yeah.
where can we support you and good stuff, or buy a book from you or whatever?
What's that?
Where can we support you?
I don't have, I've actually, this is sort of me just coming out. So this is super, super exciting. What you could do is follow me on Instagram. That would be great. I recently got it up. The handle is Art by Rayan, Reyan, no spaces, all lowercase. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna try my very best to put, colorful content on there, something that speaks. And so yeah, and thank you so much for supporting again and tuning in. I really appreciate it. Okay. This poem is called Synonyms for Words for Which There Are Too Many. 1. Blue. High tide. A wave that crashed. A careful examination of 2. Body. How we return memory. Odometer for highs, histogram for lows. 3. Lows. Naked. A late night trial. Between myself and the bathroom mirror, there is a full courthouse. I've never won a case. standing in a pool of my own sweat, my toes the color of veins, my veins taut like telephone wire. I laugh. My body plays tug of war with itself sometimes. My intestines thin at both ends. Fingers grace grout, bathroom tile. The shimmer of an old lover's cheek. I promise I have prayed to things other than the doorknob. Broken blood vessel. I can't remember my hazel. My therapist tells me the hardest magic trick is forgetting an old one. 4. Magic. A number between 0 and 1. To cross-section a spectrum and call it yours. 5. Yours. Not mine. 5. Mine. What hasn't left yet. Thank you. Okay, and I'm gonna close us out with debke. So thank you again. Really appreciate you guys for putting me on, and thank you for tuning in. One of my favorite words in the Arabic language is jama'a. Ya jama'a. The women join the men in the salon as the ensemble fine-tunes their instruments. The room, an impatient allegory waiting to be taken seriously. Cream-colored walls. I ask every guest if they like more coffee. An ode attempts a casual lean. An uncle brought the amp. Maurice, the mechanic, hugs the debke with his left arm, and the children trickle into the room like a PTA meeting they're not sure they belong at. I have grown up in temples like these. This is a cry of sorts, for a nation still reeling. Hands begin to jolt. Tambourine, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we clap, never missing a beat. How fond are we of vibrations we can see coming? And no one knows this better than the old. It's always business with her. A man named Nabil cradles her like a child he once knew the name of. Make no mistake, this is not grieving or cultural senescence, hands bearing a coffin, a brother's quiet mistaken for bad ideas, a force too powerful to usurp and too rickety to hold water. This is not a coup. In my dreams, I am hugging the debke. In my dreams, I am playing the pacemaker, the same color as Maurice's. In my dreams, I squeeze the literal out of the allegory and it hits me over the head like a red slip in next month's rent. And now, in temples like these, I know who we are. Breathing. Nabil strikes a chord and the ode sounds like Roman ruins turned rubble, and my grandmother's portrait is wet again. Maurice thumps away and everybody's coffee ripples like the Mediterranean. We clap until our palms are flush. And this is learning how to check our pulse. And this is learning how to breathe when there is none. And this is not unlike today. Damascus sends their condolences to us. A nation reels. There are no temples like these in America. Not anymore, at least. All that's left is a stillness to hang our coats on. But hands still jolt, now more than ever. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we clap, never missing a beat, refusing to be beat. We are learning to be debke. Thank y'all. Really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Much love.
Whoa. Ow. Can you do us one more favor though, Ryan? You want to plug your Cash App to everybody in case they want to, like, you know, send you some money?
Yes, please. First name, last name, Ryan Choeb, RyanChoeb. Yeah, anything would really be appreciated. Thank you so much.
Lit. Thank you so much for your beautiful words. Like, you had me enraptured the entire time. Yeah, definitely follow Rand on his social media, you know, drop a little something, and Cash App, Venmo, all that good stuff. But for now, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And yes, I do mean 5 minutes, not a poet 5 minutes, not an extra 5 minutes on top of the 5 minutes. We're going to take a 5-minute break. During that time, get some water, pour yourself another drink, roll yourself another spliff, whatever you need to do to get prepared. And we will see you back here at 9:45. I'm muted as hell. All right, are we ready to start the second round of our slam? I'm going to take that silence for maybe. Okay. I'm just going to make sure we have all of our judges first. Judges, can you raise your scoreboard, your scoring apparatus? Lit, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. So we have all of our judges. And we took the top, normally we take the top 5 poets, but there was a tie for 5th place. So we're taking the top 6 poets, and they will be reading in this order. We have, which is reverse order of appearance for folks. We have Scriptures Raw, then we have Tiana, then we have Alex the Great, then we have Chardonnay, then we have Emrys, and then we have Cam. Give it up for every person who will be performing in our second round. This is the money round. This is where people are no longer competing for fame or for glory, but for cold, hard, hopefully American cash. Unless you're not like in the United States, which in that case, like American cash is probably useless. So whatever your currency is, hopefully, you know, it's money. But yeah, we're not gonna just throw you off in there. We had an amazing feature, you know. Some of y'all might have been drinking during the break. I know I was. So we need to recalibrate the judges, get them ready to judge poetry instead of just listening to it. So we have another sacrificial poet, someone to spill the blood. Everybody type spill the blood in their comment section and give it up for our sacrificial poet, Colin.
I can't find him here.
Colin's on Chardonnay's screen.
Okay. All right, you have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
If I die young, don't you dare put me on an airbrush t-shirt. I don't want my kindergarten picture next to some lowriders or them ghetto ass clouds. I don't want my legacy to be worn as a garment. I don't want the words rest in peace on my gravestone like my life wasn't a revolution, like this revolution was peaceful, like anyone can find peace in a death like this, like peace can be found in lifeless black boys like black boys find peace, because we only find bullets and rope. Instead, at my funeral, lower me into the ground in silence. Slowly cover my body in the dirt I once walked on and let me rest. Let me rest. Let my name be crucified. Don't resurrect me as a hashtag. Make me the poster child of a movement that you never really cared to start when I was alive. I don't want to be just another dead black boy either. Why do we always have to die to mean something? Why does freedom sound so much like execution? See, Dr. King always said he wasn't going to live to see 40. Tamir Rice died at 12. We hold them up as martyrs, a death for a cause. But a martyr without progress is just genocide, and how many more of us have to die before these words become my eulogy, my brother says, and we immortalize the names of our fallen on our tongues. Let their spirits dance from our lips, but what if I don't want to live forever? Want for you to fight so hard for my spirit to live on, when all I ever wanted to do was just live. Thank you.
All right, keep that love and good energy going for your sacrificial poet, Colin. Judges, y'all know what I need from you. We got 1 score, got 2 scores. Trey, I can't see it. Got 3 scores, 4 judges. Let them know how you feel. We got a low of a 9.0, goes up to a 9.5, a 9.8, and a 10. Give it up for the poet and not the points. All right, so we have our sacrifice Judges, you are ready for the poetry. All right. So on deck, we have Tiana, but give maximum love to the first poet of the second round. Give it up for Scriptures Raw.
You have the floor.
What is peace? What is peace? We mistake peace with a state of passiveness. Our protests in these streets, hands up, don't shoot, is taken as a cute little act of contempt. Because once the voices calm down, sometimes before they actually do, bam, it happens again. Another Black man struck dead at the hands of so-called law enforcement, the unlawful enforcement agencies of this country. We mistake peace for passiveness because we call for peace as we march through the streets with actions of passiveness. What is passiveness? Now, 1, passiveness, submission to others or to outside influences, passivity, submissiveness, the trait of being willing to yield to the will of another person or superior force. Now, is our protest in peace or is it in passiveness? Think about it. Passively, we seem to stand by and watch as these cowardly so-called men in uniform murder unarmed Black men, but ironically, we can actively take lead in killing each other tragically. And the same gun you used against your own brother, you drop it when the cops are there. I thought it was him or me. Oh yeah, the cops hardly ever actually kill a nigga responsible for the death of another street nigga, so you safe. We mistake peace with a state of non-war, but even in the very stages of spiritual warfare, the strongest of our ancestors maintained peace. Peace is our natural state of being, so to hell with marching for it. Just be as we are. Kun fayakun, be and it is. That's what Quran says. We demanded peace, but from them, but peace ain't with them, nor in them to give it to you. They are not the owners of. Why ask them commanded or demanded, they have no authority. They don't possess it to ever give it or make it, let alone create it, when their inherent nature ain't it. We mistake peace for happiness. Those who claim happiness are not always at peace. That brings them satisfaction. In the fraction of an instance it can be taken, they will be saddened. That's materialistic patterns. But not the ones among them that know that they are peace. See, peace is a constant. It is not conditioned to situations or challenges. It's constant, and peace ain't really our goal. Freedom is. But what is freedom? Because we think that we free. Domes are encapsulating. Anything captured cannot be free, and our minds have been imprisoned, restricted to this prison cell in this human flesh. I am not that. I am free. My mind is not contained in its head. The divine just works through it, producing raw scriptures. Peace.
Yes, keep that energy going for Scriptures Raw. All right, judges. I need just scores. Got it. 1 score, 2 score, 3 score, 4. Let them know how you feel. We got a low of an 8.2. Goes up to a 9.3, a 9.5, and a 10. Give it up for the poet and not the points. All right, all right. Javi, can I get that sacrificial poet score? Oh, lit, nice. And our sacrifice Colin got a 28.8. Nice. Before we continue, yes, I have more announcements. We're not the only show in the Bay Area that is providing online events for people to participate in and find poetry community. I'll tell you about one show now, the Santa Cruz Word Church open mic run by the Legendary Collective. It's every Monday on Instagram Live. You can follow at Legendary Collective for more information about how you can sign up. I normally say that this open mic is the only reason in Santa Cruz and the only reason to go, the only reason I go to Santa Cruz and really the only reason to be in Santa Cruz. But now you don't even have to be in Santa Cruz to experience it. So I definitely encourage you to go because nothing is stopping you anymore. Nor distance nor culture can stop you from accessing this great open mic run by amazing people. And I'll tell you more about other shows in the Bay Area a little bit later. But on deck, we have, on deck, we have Alex the Great, but give maximum love to the next person coming up on stage. Give it up for Tiana.
You have the floor.
We are not much for words. We sit in front of televisions, our hands move when we hear chimes. This millennium has always been found in between covers during midnights alone and minutes. We should be daydreaming. I used to ride my bike, feel the breeze in my hair, learn about my crush's dreams while staring at his picture in the yearbook. Capturing the heat from the sun was my only goal. I swallowed the beams like they were my fire to muster, told others about love like I was an open window, flailing about on a windy day for those to hear my pounding pots and pans of love. I love you. When I saw you, a carnation grew in my stomach. It bloomed to the edges and the petals reached my throat. The sentences were pouring seeds from my mouth that didn't help me to sound coherent. I pinched myself ever since. But time passed and we became robotic hardware. The brightness blinds us to seeing the ceiling secret messages at night. Our hands don't move well. We need the added oil to get up in the morning. Our heads creak when we turn to look at each other. Our hands aren't warm when we hold them. Are we kissable in metal? The sun beats down to make us shine on the outside, but our depths no longer glow. There is no sweat down the side. The heart doesn't beat in rapid motion when it's encased in iron. But I wish to take off your armor and see your oozing imperfections. I wish to lie awake in the field, be open enough for the mosquitoes to remind us that we're blood and skin that drips and burns and feels. I wish to spread the chest in a way where flowers sprout out of it and taste the bugs of rapid spontaneity and movement. The fear of feeling would never be overwatered, only suffocated by light gleaming from your eyes. I wish to satisfy the moon. It begs us to dance under it together.
Yes, send that good energy to Tiana. All right, judges. I mean, do I even have to ask? I'm pretty sure we have a working relationship here in which we can non-verbally communicate what we need from each other. Thank you. Let them know how we feel. We got a low of an 8.0. It goes up to a 9.2, a 9.3, and a 9.8. Give it up for the poet and not the points. Before we continue, let me tell you about another poetry slam that is doing online events in the Bay. We have Rich Oak Alchemy every first and third Saturday via Instagram Live. You can follow them at Rich Oak Alchemy. On Instagram is an open mic. You can every first and third Saturday. You can follow at Rich Oak Alchemy for more information on how you can sign up and how you can support that show as well. And for reference, we have a 28.0 for Scriptures Raw. So on deck, we have Chardonnay, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up in the slam. Give it up for Alex the Great.
You have the floor.
I tried to call myself depressed once. Attempted to label myself a statistic to a sickness I had no true cognizance of. My throat wrestled my tongue back down my chest, said emphatically how this body ain't never been home to misery. Ain't no welcome mat or no visiting hours either. Instead, I chose to think of all the things that a gracious mouth would conjure up, about all the folks who love me, about a God who continuously saves me, about forgiveness, especially when I'm so undeserving. And even through all my sad days, my bad days, my I can't complain, but things could be better days, I found joy seeping through the cracks of my window pane, and iridescent sunlight on my dark days, the symphony to my beating heart, my inspiration. I found beauty in this melanin, my blackness, black joy. It's the wailing police sirens that don't pull you over. Because ain't no happiness that can ever warm a black person's heart like limbering beneath the brink of death. When your whole life is a misfire in a chamber, an involuntary game of Russian roulette, you stay ever thankful for the miracle of breath. Black joy is that direct deposit hitting your account a day early. Holding the big six in dominoes, winning a hand of spades, soul train lines, cookouts, family gatherings, the DJ playing your favorite song, the unspoken what's up in a dap or a head nod, mama catching a cramp round that third stroke of the belt, how the front porch stay covered in old folks storytelling, how the backyard carry traces of kin in its soil, grandma with that underhanded $20 bill handshake, that new job joy, newborn baby smell joy, grandpa's 85th birthday joy, hearing those 3 words, you've been approved. Black joy is the moment when the beat drop and your favorite auntie holler, oh yeah, that's my song. Beating the odds, forging new paths, a life not reduced to a hashtag, creating a legacy, laughing carelessly. Sunday morning devotionals, the praise and the worship team, praise reports in that church bulletin, knowing the meaning of those 2 words, but God, having a song to sing, fresh out the salon looking on fleek. Black joy is being on fleek, tight, slaying, on point, beat to the gods. Black joy is broken English, spoken in slang, with a Mississippi backwoods southern drawl, that Midwest swing, East Coast Jones, West Side be so lit. Black joy is the prayer, the omen, the amen, early mornings on Christmas with family opening gifts, little black dress joy, 3-piece suit joy, found some cash in my couch cushions joy, unspeakable joy. Black joy is at work in every breath, a testament to the power of active resistance, to defiance. This is blackness. This is black joy.
All right, keep that round of applause, good energy, good vibes going to Alex the Great. All right, judges, you know what I need. I got 1 score, I got 2 score, I got 3 score. Where's my 4th score? All right, let them know how you feel. We have a low of a 9.5. It goes up. Wait, I have to check. Is that score upside down, Rowan? Okay. I just had to check because it could have been a completely different score. So we got a 9.5, a 10, a 10, and a 10. Give it up for the poet and not the points. All right, before we continue, again, there's another show in the Bay Area that is doing online events. The Oakland Poetry Slam is every 3rd Tuesday, and they have a slam via Zoom. So you can learn more on the Instagram page at Oakland Slam. For more information on how to sign up. We're always looking for judges, always looking for poets. So let us know and we'll make sure that you get all the information that you need. Cool. So let me look at the last score. I am not trying to do all that. We have a 27.7 for Tiana. All right. And on deck, we have Imris, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Chardonnay.
You have the floor.
I've written a poem to release everyone I've lost, except for my abiku. How do you grieve someone you didn't know you had until they were gone? Someone you conceived but will never meet. Circa 2016, I dreamt of you all year. You had my eyes, my nose, my skin tone. my mirror. In February, you saved my life. In April, I named you. In June, I met the source of your lips. Your name was spelled differently, but pronounced like his. Years later, I accept that wasn't a coincidence. In August, dreams were angry and vivid. Then September's 3 hospital visits. 1, the bleeding is your birth control. It should stop in about a week. 2, it's not really abnormal. Ibuprofen should get it under control. 3, you've had a miscarriage. Maybe. The doctor didn't faze me, and the nurse explained I shouldn't let it faze me. You're young, and most people have kids after a miscarriage. Miscarried. As if I carried you wrong because my body couldn't tell you were there. As if the hormones didn't care whether they prevented a pregnancy or ended one. You were screaming in my dreams, begging to be seen in a language I couldn't understand. Ibuprofen may cause miscarriages, but if you Google the causes, the most common is undetermined and not refuse to be carried to term because of mom's abortion jokes. I took all of those dreams, those memories, and put them in a box labeled, I'm not sure I even want kids, but maybe my heart aches at the sight of kids her would-be age. And Abiku has been in my dreams again lately. Stop blaming yourself for the way that we were hurt. Acknowledge me, let me go, and do the work. Thank you.
All right, keep that round of applause, that energy going for the poet Chardonnay. All right. Judges, you know, I like need your scores. I got 1 score, I got 2 scores. Ooh, child. 3 scores, 4 scores. Let me know how you feel. We got a low of an 8.2. Goes up to a 9.8, a 10, and a 10. Give it up for the poet and not the points. And for reference, Alex the Great had a 29.9. All right. So on deck, we have Cam, but give maximum love to our penultimate poet, which I've been informed via dictionary.com means second to last poet. Give it up for Imris.
You have the floor.
So I've never been a Catholic, but I think I understand confession. After all, I have spent plenty of time tied down on my knees telling a man who is not my father, I'm sorry, Daddy, I've been naughty. Because isn't there always something about queers and our fathers after, when the service is done and I've called God's name and his 1,000 times and been answered, anointed, and made clean, I am redeemed, reborn, my transgression transformed into grace, because what is absolution if not God's aftercare? Empty if the preceding penitence is not sufficiently punishing. And I think of all the times that I have been that holy hypocrite, sought forgiveness before earning it, tried to bandage a wound before cleaning it, and still I hold the knife. My bound hands are no danger, my hobbled feet cannot flee this accounting, and when he or the Spirit enters me, I can only cry out in my longing to be saved. The truth is, though, that no man or God can save me, not before I do, and the truth is I can't save myself, or I would have already. And isn't it true that paradox is the space of miracles, where the divine is carnal and the only path to earthly pleasure is surrender to something, someone who can move in ways that I cannot, and faith that this plan will carry me through. But this is not some empty apology, all faith and no works. So I kneel, genuflect, let him tie me down so that I don't rise before my time. I say the words, beg forgiveness, and to know that penance must precede rebirth. And it will.
All right. Keep that love going for Emrys. All right. Judges, you know what I need from you. We've communicated this before. All right, let them know how you feel. We got a low of an 8.5, goes up to a 9.0, a 9.4, and a 9.5. Give it up for the poet and not the points. And for reference, there is a 29.2 for Chardonnay. All right, we have reached the end of our night. We have one last poet. So everybody say aw, and then give maximum love to the last poet of the night. Give it up for Cam.
You have the floor.
Getting dressed. I put on a dress, turn once, twice in the mirror, inspect my ass, my legs, my breasts. I look myself in the eyes, smile. Comfortable with my pieces and the way they fit together, satisfied with how I have learned to carry myself, lovingly, deliberately, and with pride. Then, I imagine walking outside, disjointed voices, crawling eyes. I take off the dress.
All right, keep that love going for Cam. All right, and judges, you know what I need from you. All right, I got one score. I got 2 scores. I got 3 scores. Where's my 4th score at? Tino. All right, let them know how you feel. We got a low of an 8.0, goes up to an 8.5, a 9.0, and a 9.4. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet. Yes. Can I get Emrys's score? And we got a 27.4 for Emrys. While we're waiting for our scorekeeper to tabulate the score, and a 26.7 for Cam. Nice, thank you, scorekeeper. While we're waiting for Javi to tabulate the scores, let me tell you about one other show in the Bay Area. We have the San Jose Slam every second Sunday via Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so.
No, it's on Zoom. They post a Zoom link. So go to their Facebook. They'll post a Zoom on their thing there. Yeah.
See, I'm so glad that I am not the person that you listen to. Yeah, go to their Facebook page. You can always find more information about how you can sign up, get the Zoom link, and participate. Yeah, so that is our slams. Okay, I'm trying to think. Ooh, before I forget, let me shout out this amazing group, Bay Poets Unite. It is a platform for local artists, local spoken word artists in the Bay. They live stream a lot of the major shows in the Bay Area, as well as creating video clips of individual poems for people to use, to post on YouTube, for people to use in their press kits, all that good stuff that every young poet really needs in order to be successful. So check us out. We just got our YouTube link, our customized YouTube link, because we hit 100 subscribers. So you can go to youtube.com/BayPoetsUnite in order to keep up with us, look at archives of our live streams, as well as check out dope videos from dope artists in the Bay Area. Make sure if you go there to like and subscribe. If we hit 1,000, our next goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. So that's only possible because of support from viewers like you. Thank you. I am now PBS. Lit. I think we have our scores. Yes. So I need a mini drum roll. In third place with a 55.2. Give it up for Scriptures Raw. Anything you want to say to the people real quick?
Just shout out to everybody that went up here. Everybody was wonderful. I thank you for the opportunity to be on this platform. You want to follow me on IG, scriptures_raw, scriptures_raw. That's it. Thank y'all.
Lit. Thank you, Scriptures. All right. I need a slightly larger drum roll. In second place with a 57.2. Give it up for Chardonnay.
Thank you. Nice. This was really fun. And I really appreciate the scores and things. You can keep up with my poetry by following me at Healing Cool Waters on Instagram. You can support me by checking out my website, healingcoolwaters.com. And I have a birthday coming up, so like money would be just like awesome. My Cash App is my name thing.
Yes, support local artists, especially local artists that birthday are coming up. All I know is that Gemini season is canceled. So the least you could do is buy something from Chardonnay and make sure that they get some money. Support local artists because all of our birthdays are getting canceled, so we can't do shit. Might as well have enough money to do something at home. Definitely support local artists. All right, I need a big drum roll, like we actually got drums. Drum roll. There we go. In first place with a 59.6. Give it up for Alex the Great.
Hi. Oh, oh, hey. I'm supposed to say something, I guess. Hey, thanks for listening to me. Thanks for the platform. This is my daughter. You can, if you want to support me, my IG, I changed my name here, but my IG is Follow the Great. And you can go to my website, alexthegreat.com, to get merchandise, to buy a book for me if you want. Thank y'all.
Thank you. I can't say it enough. Support local artists. Support the people that you like hearing, because if you don't support those people, they're eventually not going to be creating art, because like that don't pay enough to pay bills sometimes. So, pay a poet's bills today and support an artist. That being said, I want to say thank you to Alex, to Chardonnay, to Scriptures, to Rayan, to every single person who touched this slam tonight. It would not be possible without you. There would be no show. If you look in our chat, we have posted the sign-ups for next week's show, or the week after. I think we're doing, for our next show, I think we're doing a
rewatch.
Yes, we're doing a watch party next week, so we're going to be taking a break from a slam, but join us. We're going to be bringing back some poets from a previous slam to look back at the live stream and, shoot the shit, talk about what happened behind the scenes. But in 2 weeks, we'll have another slam. The Google form is in the comment section in the chat box, definitely sign up. The sign up list for the Rich Oak Alchemy virtual open mic is also in our chat and our comment section. Sign up, get your name out there, get a platform, because all of this is for all of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this magical journey of poetic excellence and artistic beauty. I have been your host, Reggie. This is Berkeley Slam Quarantine Edition. We will see you next week for a watch party. Peace.
All right, y'all. Be cool. Be smart.